And we are live.
Live? Did something change?
Well, I mean, for what we're doing, we're like
Oh,
live.
we're live now, so we're live on
recording.
on tape.
Yeah, live
but
on tape.
We're not actually using tape.
No.
Oh, well, if I knew. Hold on. Hey, kids, welcome to another edition of Love to Hate. I'm Philip Fullman.
And I'm Brandon Loon, and we have a special guest today.
Yes, we do.
Mr.
Brian McGee.
Brian McGee, yeah.
Hello.
Sounds so official. Did you go to broadcasting school, the Columbia School of Broadcasting, which was the equivalent of, can you draw on this box of matches, send us money, and we'll tell you can be an artist?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that little thing with that wasn't broadcasting. What was that? The thing where you had to color you do the turtle and the what was that?
That was it was some shitty art school.
Yeah.
They used to do that for poetry as well, for writing. They would put it in the comic section, and it's like, hey, send us a submission. And they send it back like, that is perhaps one of the greatest things we have read. Send us $200. We'll publish you. Like, I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah, and then they put you in that book with like a bunch of other suckers, and you get a book sent to you that never got published anywhere except for you and the 200 people.
Yeah, that's what self-publishing's for, right?
Yeah. Now it's Amazon thing, right? Which I think we should.
Yeah,
talk
I
about
actually
eventually.
I actually did too. I did Amazon, and you know what the pain is? It's free to do, but the formatting sucks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's this very specific way. So now to this day, and especially the way I write stuff, the formatting's all screwed up. So people probably think I'm not as good. Are we recording?
Yeah, we're recording.
Is
We're
that
good.
that's okay?
Yeah,
because I saw you check the button.
No, we're good. I didn't push any buttons. We're good. You want me
So
to stop and check?
No. We'll just roll with it, and if it's not done, I'll kick your ass again.
This is definitely a professional setup, I can tell.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It
Can't
looks
you tell by the
semi-professional,
environment?
but,
Yeah.
We're also hooked
How
up
you
to.
guys are not full-time in radio is beyond me.
He owns all his own equipment. I mean,
I do, yeah. This was like $100 right here.
Yeah,
Probably.
So, last thing we talked about was Star Wars. We geeked
Right.
out. We nerded out.
We did,
So
yeah.
we're going to redeem ourselves. Talk about something manly.
Oh, are we doing beards this week?
We can do that next week.
Oh, okay. Beard.
McGee doesn't have a beard. I don't want him
I
to
have a beard.
feel
Yeah,
that.
he has beard envy.
Yeah, he does. But no, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. And this
Oh.
has nothing to do with the fact that my Kansas City Chiefs are the Super Bowl champs. It has nothing to do with that whatsoever. We planned this out months ago.
I love how it's
Regan.
your Kansas City Chiefs. You realize that's one of the things.
Right here. No, that's true. People do.
They take ownership of those teams, man.
They do.
Yeah.
And they.
I just want to congratulate the Dallas Texans for winning the Super Bowl
That is true.
and Mahomie, White House, Texas,
That's true.
Texas Tech,
Now,
go
they said
Red Raiders.
he's the first Texas quarterback to start a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
crazy.
true?
Yeah. it
That is
absolutely
hard
true.
to believe with all the quarterbacks who have come out of Texas. Because I thought Drew Brees was a Texas guy.
Drew Brees went to high school in Texas. So did the Philadelphia guy, Knowles.
Yeah,
He went to the same high school as Brees went to.
yeah.
But none of them are from Texas.
Gotcha.
This is the first quarterback from
Born
Texas.
and bred.
Yes.
Nice.
This is why we have McGee here today, because I knew none of this shit at all. Like, that's not my thing.
You know, it's funny because when you say when people are talking about the game, well, what we need to do, it's like, we? You know, we need to do this on defense. Like, you're sitting right here next to me smoking a cigar. I don't see you out there with a pair of cleats on and a pair of pads, but everybody does personalize it. But no, it was special to me because I love that city. And they deserve it, and it's fantastic. The one thing that irks me, everybody keeps talking about
Barbecue?
The barbecue's great.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
it's they make good barbecue in Kansas City.
Say that again with a straight face right now.
They make good barbecue in Kansas
He
City.
said he did say good.
He said good. Okay.
It's hickory versus mesquite. As a Texas boy, I prefer mesquite. So I'll say that.
Okay.
But-
Anyway, you were saying I didn't mean.
Well,
to interrupt
yeah,
you.
no. Everybody's like, my God, it's been 50 years since they've won. Let me just say, 50 years isn't that long ago. That was just like yesterday.
Right.
50 years isn't a long time. I think that's a relatively short span of time.
In the world of sports, I think that's probably a short
Oh.
span of time. What are we talking with the Cubs and stuff and that whole thing?
That was forever.
Yeah, that was
that was an
that was
eternity.
generational.
Right.
Yeah, that was true. My great grandfather used to root for him, and yeah.
Yep.
But no, so
just
they-
watched Rookie of the Year again, one of the best sports movies ever.
Oh, the one with Dennis Quaid?
No, not Rookie of the Year. Was it? Yeah, it was Rookie of the Year. The one with the kid where he gets the arm. He's like the little kid's like 11. He's like
Oh
pitching.
yeah.
The hell are you talking about?
You've never seen that movie? It's great. It's
No,
on
I
Disney Plus. Watch it.
Oh no, the one I'm thinking of with Dennis Quaid is The Rookie.
Yeah, The Rookie. That's a great one too, though. There's a lot of great sports movies. Yeah,
Baseball makes a better sports movie than football.
I tend to agree with that. I'd say North Dallas 40.
The original or the remake?
The original. The original. The remake was okay. I thought the remake was okay. What else? What's another good football movie?
Well, of course, Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy's great. Rudy's great.
Which they're now tearing apart. That it wasn't like that. That apparently now the coach at that time is getting heat for not wanting to play a player not up to par to make the team, and so there's a whole bunch of stuff happening.
Revisionist history. You should have put him in, even though he wasn't.
No, he shouldn't have been on the team. He wasn't that good. So,
well, Sean Astin. I mean, look at the guy.
But the movie was great.
Yeah, the movie was great.
Yeah,
he was actually taller in real life, and
right.
They wrote that part in.
Less hobbitish.
Remember the Titans was good.
Remember the Titans was very good. Yeah.
What about the replacements?
I like the replacements.
That was good cheese wise.
Right. Yeah.
That was Gene Hackman going, yeah, think I need another pool at the house.
Al Pacino.
Any Given Sunday.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I forgot about that.
That's
one.
an Oliver Stone movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It explored the seamy underbelly of.
Because Oliver Stone was one of the broadcasters with Barry Switzer.
Oh yeah.
Were you really?
No kidding.
I had no idea.
I had no idea either. I just thought
Oh, you're
was...
talking about in the movie.
In the movie.
Oh,
yes,
okay,
in the
okay.
movie,
Okay,
yeah.
not in real life.
Okay.
Yeah, not in real life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the movie.
I'm like, what a storied career.
Right.
No. So you couldn't have gone to the Super Bowl even if you wanted to. I'm going to guess.
Absolutely not. Too expensive.
It's out of control that even just a regular game, I think, what was it? $252 average ticket price if you go solo.
Right.
And nobody wants to go to a game by themselves. So if you're trying to take your family, you're talking $800, $1,000 just to get in the door to watch a football game. Is that even worth it?
If you're a fan, yes. I will say this. I went to the Dallas Cowboys-Rams game. A buddy of mine gave me, went with it. He works for Pepsi, so I was in the Pepsi suite. Didn't charge me for it.
Nice.
Free food in the suite. I still spent $150 on parking.
Ooh.
So it still cost me $150 to go to that game, even though I didn't have
Everything
to pay
else
for anything.
was
Right. They get you in the parking, especially in the park. If you
Oh,
want to
yeah.
get anywhere close. But I agree with you 100%. The ticket prices are insane right now.
and it's to pay for these ginormous stadiums, everything like. But it's put the fans out of the game. You can only it's business people, it's people with like you a guy who's got a contact. It's like, oh, I can go to the game because I got a buddy who's got a hookup. But if you just want to grow up and get your kid into sports, you can't afford to take him to a freaking game.
Right.
But do you need to at this point?
I don't think families get in free either, do they?
No.
But I mean, really, with and this is one thing I've heard people saying at Jerry World is with the giant jumbotron, you end up watching the game there.
You literally
more.
sit there and stare at that board almost the entire, depending on where you're sitting.
Right.
Now, the suite I was in was at the ones down on the field. Mm-hmm. Like the field's right here. Mm. And then you could go upstairs to seats up top. But what you do is if we were on the corner of the stadium, so what happens is if they're on the other end, you start staring. You watch the jumbotron the whole time until they get right in front of you. But then you're going back up to see the replay and that stuff.
So why? See, so my thought is, I could just stay home and watch it on my gigantic TV, and I don't have to pay any of that.
And that's what's coming up. So that's why all these stadiums now have the art collections, the fan involvement stuff. Because why wouldn't you want to just sit at home and watch it on a 75-inch high def, or watch the Red Zone channel where you're watching every team
every
score.
game, and especially with guys who do fantasy football.
Now it's all about the attractions at the stadium to get your butt out of your chair and to spend that money to get to the stadium.
To get him to do the experience.
And that's happening not just in sports, but you look at the cinema system, the way that it's going now.
Yeah.
they 3D. They've got the chairs that feel. They try and do everything they can to get you in those seats at the movie
it's like
theaters
going
now.
to a restaurant, and you and I've talked about that. I don't want to go and sit next to a guy who's, getting a second plate of potato skins during the movie. It's like, I just want to sit, eat some popcorn, but I don't need the waiter walking back and forth, you tagging somebody to get him to bring more. Or the worst, people getting drunk during the movie. Because people are noisy enough without him sitting there like, look at shut up. I just want to enjoy the movie.
Right.
So
and, that doesn't happen at sports games, though. I mean, let's be
oh,
honest.
no. But in a sports game,
that's
you
been
anticipate
happening
it.
forever in sports games.
Right. Yeah, you kind of anticipate that, but, you're going to a theater. Unless you go to the art theater, then you're thinking maybe that won't happen. It's like, my God, this man spoke up during a French film. But, during a lot of stuff, it's like, there's going to be screams and stuff, which kind of takes you out of it. But you expect it at a sports game.
Yeah.
You also expect violence.
Yeah, you definitely expect a good amount of violence at a sports game.
Or there can be.
Yeah.
But, you hope that there's not. Especially if somebody was to take their family.
Yeah.
But I don't see, like you said, it's got to be a secondary draw. But attendance is down. They even said this was one of the lowest attended Super Bowls.
Yeah. Well, they're pricing themselves out of it. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory there. I think I enjoy going to sports events, but I enjoy going to the AAA stuff. Like, I'll go see the Rough Riders because that's a blast and it's inexpensive. I can go get out of there probably with a family for a couple $100 and eat well and have decent seats and have a fun game. Because these guys are really working for it. They're trying to get to that next level, and they're busting their ass. Same with the Allen Americans.
I love the Allen Americans.
That is a blast, man. That's
I've
so much
yet to
more
go.
fun than going to see the Stars.
And what you get to do there is if you get there early, you go stand by the locker room and you fist pound them as they come out to warm up. You give it to them as they're going back in. It's very fan interactive, like you were saying. Yeah, it's a lot. You can't do that at a Stars game.
No, you can't. Absolutely not. No.
And you used to be able to do that at regular football games, which is the crazy part.
Yeah.
But now they wouldn't want they don't want the fans near the players because you don't know what kind of nut jobs you're dealing with.
Right.
But like you said, it's the hustle. This isn't a guy who's like, if I catch it, if I drop it, my check stays the same. These are guys who want to make the team.
Yeah.
So you get a lot more out of it.
Yeah. I tend to have a lot more fun at those type of games. That's just personal, for me. But I haven't been to a professional football game in probably over 20 years just because of the cost that is involved with that. And getting everybody to go at the same time, it's just a pain in the ass, So,
Yeah, I think the last professional game I went to was a Royals game.
Yeah.
And it was the year they won the World Series and they lost that game.
I mean, I've been to Rangers games and stuff like that, but as far as football, it's just once they moved the stadium, I was out.
Well, and you got to look at, baseball's different. You have, 82 home games, so the price point's not going to be as high.
Because you can spread it out.
NFL, you've got 8 games. They've got to jack that price up. Now, once I'm there, once I'm in the seats, the experience is the experience. I love it. I would, if I could afford it, I would buy season tickets and go on those Sundays. But it's definitely an investment, and it's 6 hours of your day. Because do I leave now? Look, there's 3 minutes left. Do I want to try and beat everybody to the parking lot so I'm not stuck in traffic?
Right.
Well, if
But
it's a
you
Cowboys game.
You can take a helicopter, by the way, and
Jesus
park
Christ.
it right next to the stadium and literally walk across. So there's that option.
I think
you trying to-
helicopters are probably a little bit less popular
Were you-
right now.
Were you trying to tee that up, or did that just happen to?
Sorry.
You were referring to Jerry's helicopter. The fact that
Jerry, and actually there was 4 other people there with their helicopters on the pad.
because Jerry flies from Highland Park or wherever to Frisco to go to the practice facility, which it makes sense.
Of course he does.
Because his practice facility actually sells Airbus helicopters. You can go there and watch the Cowboys practice, and then cut a check and buy a helicopter if you so choose.
Man, I love that. It's kind of like Target. You just go in, you just get anything. It's like I came for milk. I got a shirt.
Can I use my Target card and get 5% off? That'd be great.
Your Dallas Cowboy credit card.
Right.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't think they do that. I think that's out. It's crazy to me how much money as a people, as a humanity spends on sports. I mean, you got to look at all the packages that are involved with if you want all the games, like what does it cost? for that.
Well, you got to get a personal seat license to the NFL if you want season tickets, which is bullshit because it's kind of like the lottery. It's like, no. You don't actually have the season tickets. You just drop $2,000 to say, I want one seat.
Well, what did Andy?
Yeah.
Was it like $3,000?
Yeah, something like
Now, technically, he can sell that.
Right.
Right.
Not that. I mean, I guess he could sell the tickets, but those seats are his now. And then if he decides, I don't want to come from Nashville anymore, I can sell those seat licenses and get.
Is the seat license a yearly renewal, or is that a lifetime?
I think it's yearly.
I don't know.
I think it's yearly.
I don't know.
It's a lot of money, though. But I mean, it's almost become a commodity now. Where if you're going to get that license, well, now if I can't go to every game, I can sell those seats, maybe make a profit.
Oh yeah, they're like they're cash.
Tickets,
yeah,
right.
You can turn around and sell those to somebody who wants to go.
Yeah.
Or if you got a really good friend, just like, hey, take my season tickets. I'm not going to go to the game. Mm-hmm. Now, in a Cowboys game, when you're talking about leaving before 3 minutes left, they're behind. Do you risk anything leaving 3 minutes before? Or?
Not lately.
You were
if
wrong.
it was back in the 90s, no, I'd stay till the end.
Stay till the end, yeah.
Right.
I think there were a lot of people. God, who was telling me? Somebody was at a cigar shop, and the Chiefs were down 20-10, and the Chiefs fans were like, we're leaving. It's like, that was a bad mistake. Have you not seen what happened before in the other two games? But I got to admit, as I was watching the game, I was like, yeah, clock's ticking here. You better do something fast.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the chefs.
No, I was pleasantly surprised. Yeah, until they scored that last touchdown, I still couldn't relax because San Francisco still had plenty of time to come back.
Let's talk about the call. I didn't see that as a touchdown because he got his arm in and his feet were out. That was a touchdown?
Okay, so on that play, what the goal line is, you got to crack the front, not the back end of it. So as his foot is coming down, they show the ball is right over the line. So technically, the play's over right there because it is a touchdown.
Wow.
No, but it was so naked eye you can't tell.
Right.
But when they slowed it down, before the foot hits the turf, the ball crosses the front of the goal line. Touchdown, plays over.
So are we putting too much emphasis on technology now for a call like that? Because if that had happened in the 70s,
that would have been probably called out of bounds. They would have had the ball on the 1 yard line.
Or if they'd have seen the foot.
Right.
Right.
Or
if they didn't see the foot,
it would have just been a touchdown.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You hear fans. It depends on how your team gets. If your team gets the benefit, or if they get screwed.
Well, yeah.
Then everybody gripes about the instant replay.
Absolutely,
it has slowed the game down.
Yeah.
But it makes.
Well, you just mentioned. 6 hours, right? Because when you go to the game, you physically have to wait through all the commercials that they're going to do.
Oh yeah.
And I can't imagine how many commercials that is for the Super Bowl and how much those cost. But that's a lot of sitting there waiting to wait. For your game to keep going. So I think there's something to be said for watching it at home, and even if you can record it and watch it and just fast forward through all the bullshit, as long as your friends aren't texting you and you're off social media, that's the big thing.
And the big play thing, or the big thing now, is with instant replay. Now you got to sit through a ref talking to New York,
right?
And now you're waiting on top of that. So it is drawn the game, and to their credit, they still get it done in about 3.5 hours, but they're stretching it.
What they say, the actual playing time is probably less than 10 minutes of just the ball in motion.
Right.
It's just like about 10 minutes.
Right.
The rest of it's all sitting around waiting. But with the exception of the timeouts and whatnot, I think that creates the drama.
Right.
That soccer is lacking. And basketball up until the last minute when everybody's calling a timeout and it's a close game. Because it's just the constant back and forth. I don't have time to worry. You keep pausing it, I have time to worry.
Yeah.
It's the same with baseball. You're waiting on the pitch. It's like, oh, man, it's a 3-2 pitch. What's going to happen? Soccer, it's just a constant back and forth. I don't have time to get worried about it.
Yeah.
So I think it creates the drama.
And now when we're watching it on television, it's become a different thing because now a lot of people watch the game that aren't even really interested in the game to watch the commercials. And that used to be when you went to the bathroom.
When was that?
Right.
When did that become a thing? The 90s? when it
say
became
was
the
the 80s or 90s.
yeah, you're probably
been a
right.
thing
The
for a
80s,
while.
yeah, which
Yeah.
is you want to watch the funny commercial and
Now people go to the bathroom during the game because
Right.
commercials are more entertaining.
Yeah, and you're going to get replays for 5 minutes. So, by the time you get back, you're still watching. a
well,
replay
and it's
of
got to
something.
be entertaining because they want to keep you there. Because for 30 seconds, this last Super Bowl, $5.6 million, 30 seconds.
I think that's why you saw a lot of combo advertising tied with Bud Light. With
Yeah,
they were like, "Hey,
We're gonna
you
split
want to go
the
halves
cost."
on a commercial?"
Right. Well, you had that one that was like all that. What was it? A Pfizer? No, not Pfizer. It was a one company did like 5
Procter
different
and
things.
Gamble.
Procter and Gamble.
it was
that
and it was tied because it even showed up in a Wonder Woman promo.
right. Yeah.
Which I'm like, what the hell is this? And I didn't even pay attention because I didn't watch any of the commercials. I just kept turning the volume down, and
You are
that was
probably
it.
in the minority there. I think a lot.
I
Of people
I
were
hate
watching those commercials.
commercials have gotten so bad, and now so many of them play that fucking coffee shop type of, hey, we're all just people, music, and I'm like, what is this about? I'm like, oh, it's a fucking sob. How does this make my life better? Or it's
like that music. Yeah.
yeah, it's a pharmaceutical, but it's always this music about, hey man, we're all just living life, and they got the guy with the Jack Bauer bag walking into the coffee shop, and how much you leaving a nickel tip me. Like, what is this? What are we even selling? It's just so fucking annoying. I like the old ones where it's just like, hi, this is our cigar. This is where it's made. Please buy this. It's like, you know what? I like that. Listening to some of the old ads, it's like, here's our new can of tuna. It now has more tuna in it. Fan-fucking-tastic.
Right.
30% more tuna.
Yeah. As opposed
30% less dolphin.
to like the kid who walks in hungry from lunch and looks at mom, and then it's like, if you love your kids, like, don't play me. Just
don't
tell me
play
what
me.
it is.
Now, I will say, in my opinion, Hyundai won it with the Boston with Jim from The Office,
Yeah.
Rachel Drake, and
Captain America.
the Pocket.
Yeah.
Pocket. You ain't
But
getting pocket.
you guys, I would think, had to geek out over the Walmart commercial with all the.
That was pretty interesting. Yeah. And I had two thoughts. It's like, man, Walmart has a lot of money, and B, wow, Star Wars will fucking put their name on anything. They will
Yes.
do
Yes, they will.
anything.
Yep.
Because it was like, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. There was a lot of that this year. I think that was just like off the wall, kind of weird. Like, wow, that's really.
Trying to keep butts in seats.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go to
Then
the
you got
bathroom
that,
during
you got
the
that
game.
halftime show. Woohoo.
Man. Okay, so full disclosure, I watched the Dick Van Dyke Show during halftime because I don't even know what a Shakira is, but I figured she sucked. And J-Lo, I don't even want to listen to her sing, let alone act. I just don't care about her. So I just watched the Dick Van Dyke Show because I knew I didn't give a shit. And then all of a sudden, after the halftime show, social media's lit up. People are lit up. Everybody's either incensed or saying, that girl owned it. I can't believe she's 50.
Yeah.
Like 50 is old. But
Right.
still, it was like, I didn't get it. So I had to watch part of it. And it's like, I don't know. It looks like
There was a lot of ass wiggling. That's basically what it
There's
was.
a lot of ass wiggling, but I think the meme I saw this morning with when they showed who did Adam.
Yeah.
No shirt, white
Right.
girls going, oh my god!
Yeah, 2019.
And then
take
this
it off.
year,
Take it off.
White with J Lo and Shakira. It's white girls. The girl on the phone reporting to guys doing the barbecue.
Right.
That's
yeah.
exactly
oh, yeah. The complete double standard.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't know. I
Probably
had
didn't help that J Lo's
I
dances
thought-
were all leathered out and stuff either. I'm sure.
Yeah,
That
I mean
probably had something to do with
choreography,
it.
dance moves. It was all great.
Right.
I mean, not my type of music, but it looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did a good job with it.
Go La Raza. Lots of Hispanics.
you
Everybody
know,
was all pro Latino.
stripper poles aren't just for
And
strippers
apparently,
anymore.
Ali G made a appearance in the silver.
Yeah. Right. It looked just like him. What was
Point
it? The other meme I saw was the president's like whoever doesn't have a clothing malfunction gets deported or whatever. That was the.
You know who the halftime entertainment was at the first Super Bowl?
What was it?
Carol Channing.
Oh wow.
Like, I would have killed myself. I hate Carol Channing. I've always hated Carol Channing. It's like, man, we've come a long way. I can't remember a good Super Bowl show that I really enjoyed where it's like, oh, they're actually playing music.
I think the Prince one was pretty cool.
I was going to say Prince.
The Prince one was the catalyst
How was the
for me.
Paul McCartney one? I don't remember. Was that the first one after 9/11? I think it was.
No, that was you. Was that you two?
I don't know. Yeah, it probably was you two.
I thought it was you two, or maybe that was just at a Cowboys
Speaking
game.
of you two, he looks like the Edge, doesn't he? with his little beanie cap.
Which
on.
one's the Edge? Is he the bass player?
the guitarist guy that has the beard.
Can anybody name the other two members of the U2 other than the Edge
Bono,
and
the Edge,
Bon?
and the other two guys?
And the drummer and the bassist.
Yeah, that's it pretty much. Yeah. No, the answer is no on that.
So there are more people who could probably name the members of Poison than name the members of U2. That's probably pretty sad.
Is that Brett Michael? I don't even know.
Does he have a headband and fake hair?
Brett Michael or Vince.
Vince Neil is
Vince Neil,
that's
one of the-
Motley Crue. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, but they both look.
Yeah,
Have
they
you seen
do
him
look alike.
lately?
He
Have you
looks
seen the stuff on
bad.
YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, so
He could not play.
he's
professional
drunk. I assume he's drunk, but he sounds like he's having a stroke because the words are unintelligible, and it's not even the lyrics of the song. He's just making noise.
Vince Neil.
Yeah, and they're getting ready to go on another tour. It's like, how?
I just saw a billboard for Guns N' Roses coming to Dallas.
football. Yeah, he's rode hard and put
I
up
heard
wet too.
he's
Yeah.
in bad shape.
Have you seen the God? What was the meme? It was Axl Rose and Mickey Rourke sitting together at a basketball game, and somebody put it up like during one of those TV spots of like a couple celebrating their like 25th wedding anniversary or something, and they look like an old couple. Axl Rose looks like a little old lady.
Yeah.
He does. He looks like a Barbara Bush-esque.
Oh wow!
If he got the crop top, he would look like the grandma from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yes.
You know, if he just did that,
Yeah.
that's all he'd have to
He
do.
is no longer cool.
Yeah, he's not.
He has not been cool for
Make
a
yourself
long
a damn
time.
quesadilla. That's who we have as the lead singer. for
So
Guns N'
there we
Roses.
go. So if you start out in entertainment fat, you're okay.
Yeah, Meatloaf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you
John Candy.
yeah, but if you
Pavarotti.
start skinny and go fat, it just doesn't work.
No.
Although Bad Boys
Martin Lawrence. Yeah.
3 has been the number 1 movie for 3 weeks in a row,
And
apparently.
apparently, if you go fat and then go skinny, Jared Subway, that's bad too.
Well, there's different issues there, I think, altogether.
Subway takes no responsibility, I think they said.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with our sandwiches.
Right. Yeah.
He was born that way.
What were they
Or
putting in
what-
that meat? Jesus.
I take that back. Don't confuse it. He wasn't born that way like it's a normal thing, like it's okay, like if he was born gay. I'm not saying that. That it's not okay.
Yeah, no. If you don't know that he was a pedophile, then you just haven't been paying attention to the news for the past 20 years. But
And okay, the fact that he's talking to other people about it, like help me out. It's like, isn't this supposed to be a thing you do, like in your own little subgroup, instead of getting people to recruit for you? It's just so weird, just that he was so open about it with some people.
yeah.
I mean, I guess it turned out good that he was, because that's how he eventually got busted. But it's like that to me was just so bizarre.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah.
Man, wow, we got way off of football.
Oh wow!
We did, yeah.
I was looking for a segue.
And helicopters. What about those?
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Are you learning to fly a helicopter? I know you're flying planes.
No, I've not. I've never flown a helicopter.
Okay.
I'm sticking with it.
You've flown in them, though, I'm assuming.
No, I've never.
Really? Your entire
never-
time in the military? No helicopters?
Never been in a helicopter.
I've been in a helicopter. Yeah. It wasn't bad.
No?
It was fun.
We've got a guy in the McKinney shop, and he was a helicopter pilot during Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he saw some real flying over there, not just the, oh, it's cloudy. It's like, oh, I got guys shooting at me too. So
Right.
So where do you,
Go ahead.
since
Go
we're
ahead.
talking about helicopters and
Right.
sports, where do you fall on? Do you erase somebody's sins just because they die?
Ooh,
That
quiet.
that has been like so he's the patron saint, but everybody forgets Colorado.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the way they're explaining is he learned from his mistake and he made himself a better person.
Okay.
Made himself a better parent. Obviously you want to forgive and
Sure.
hopefully people. And look, I guess to his credit, nothing like that has happened since then.
Yeah.
So I think he bought his wife a $3 million ring to say I'm
That
sorry.
that saved the marriage.
Right.
Which probably was a drop in the bucket for him, let's be honest. But
Right.
Yeah,
But
it was like
the
$3.
stuff he does for kids and all that other stuff, I'm sure that's
You
his
can't.
way
You
of-
can't.
way different
can't-
than the stuff that
but you
Jared did for kids. But
That's
Right.
true.
So, yeah.
Right. You shouldn't erase it. That should always be part of his history because it was. But I think he made himself a better person after that.
I think that's fair. I think because I think how many people have done stuff and it's like you can change. People can repent, change, become better people.
The hope for his history is that people don't come out after the fact, because we have a habit of doing that too.
There's a lot of that in there.
Yeah.
Well, and it's easy. It's easy when nobody can say that didn't happen, or you have nobody to argue the point with you that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's anything. At no point do you relish the fact that this happened. So besides, his family's involved. A kid and other people who weren't athletes, who nobody knew their name.
Right.
So yeah, all around it's a tragedy.
I think there's something to be said for us forgiving people that we like. You can look at Woody Allen as an example for that. I mean, he did some pretty shitty stuff there, and he's still making movies, and people still like the guy. So for whatever reason,
now is it harder to separate out in sports the sin from the because we've talked about this once before. Yeah. I can't watch a Mel Gibson film anymore. I just refuse. So.
Because of Lethal Weapon 4, right? Because it was just so bad.
Lethal Weapon 4, and then there was this other thing about, I don't know.
Passion of the Christ.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. I don't remember. It's kind of vague. But, killed his savior. But, but in sports, can you then forgive that? Can people forget that, or does that stick around longer? Like, hey, that was in the guy's past. Because in Hollywood, man,
our sports guys.
Because I can tell you this. If Harvey Weinstein came up with a great idea for a movie that somebody thought they could make money off of, somebody would freaking buy it.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't care. They'll find a way to make a buck off of him because it could still be profitable. I don't know that people do that as much in sports. I mean, like when Mel dies, are people going to talk about the fact that he was anti-Semitic?
Probably not. They'll probably have a Lethal Weapon film fest somewhere, I'm sure. But you got to look at also guys in Hollywood that have not gotten away with it, and was it because they were less likable, like Roman Polanski? I mean, the guy jetted, hasn't come back.
Yeah, but he just got nominated for the French version of an Academy Award.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but that's France. They let stuff go. Yeah,
that's true.
That's France.
I think a lot to piggyback what you said. If you like them, but I don't think people love nothing more than a fallen and get back up type story.
Yeah, comeback story.
And I think a lot of what you said plays into that. If you hate the guy, they don't care if you fell or not and get back up. They hate you. It's done.
It's never going to change.
But if they've got that, I want to like this guy, I think he's good, then they'll forgive him. And
do you think
Kobe's one of those guys?
Yeah. Is OJ one of those guys?
No.
I think his legacy is pretty much just shot.
Naked Gun, yeah, and luggage commercials. That's about the only thing we forgive.
Well, I think, the thing is, because he's never admitted to this day that he's done anything.
Yeah.
We talked about that on the Liars episode. Lance Armstrong, just until you ruin other people's lives.
Yeah.
The guy. Now, they always use the excuse that everybody did it.
Right.
He was just the one that was caught. So I think that's why he gets a little. But he's a lovable guy, so that's why he gets that forgiveness, and OJ doesn't.
See, and I don't think Lance should get the forgiveness because, not for the lying, the fact that you sued other people, made them pay court cost, and they lost the cases, and you've cost them their credibility, you've hurt them financially, regardless of if everybody was doing it, your lie, your inability to admit to it, to the point that you're willing to hurt somebody else just to try to maintain that lie and then go, oh, yeah, I did it. I don't think that's forgivable. If he wouldn't have sued people and then just kept denying it, I think that's a different thing. But as I told Luna, if you don't remember from that, but the real reason Lance should not get forgiveness is the fact that now there's a bunch of middle-aged fat fucks out there in spandex clogging up the right side of the damn road every fucking weekend, going 10 miles an hour as I'm trying to do the legal posted speed limit in my car, and I got to try to get around them.
Yep.
That's why they're out there, because of Lance Armstrong.
Amen, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Classified as douche nozzle.
They do tend to take that. They're kind of like in that CrossFit area of where it's like, this is all I talk about, and it makes me a little bit superior to you. I mean, that's just kind of my take on guys like that. They kind of feel a natural superiority.
Yeah.
because again,
I think Phil needs to open up and tell us how he really feels.
Right.
I tend
How
to.
do you really feel about that subject?
I keep everything inside.
So we talked about how the cost has hit the consumer, the people that are going to these games. How has the cost affected the guys who are actually paying for the advertisements and paying for all these things for the Super Bowl?
Like we said, how many millions for a 30-second spot?
$5.7 million
Right.
for 30 seconds.
Ridiculous.
That you've got. That's you don't know that you're going to recoup that. And not to mention, and you may know this number better than I do, but when they renegotiate the TV contracts, so who is it now? Fox, ESPN,
CBS, ESPN.
and
But now they're starting to, like Amazon now does a little bit. They're getting, they're dipping their toes into the streaming side of things,
right?
As well.
I watched the Super Bowl on Hulu.
Yeah,
Hulu Live. Yeah, that's where I watched it.
Interesting.
But they're paying so much for these in the billions, to the point where these networks are saying it's not worth it. And now they're talking about the NFL maybe leaving CBS, I guess, and going over to ESPN.
I haven't heard
because of the cost, or maybe going over to ABC, I guess.
I don't think. Well, you got to look at every Sunday. You have per game anywhere from 22 to 42 million eyes on a game. That's a lot of eyeballs to give up.
It is. Not to mention because your ad revenue.
I don't think, as far as talking about cost towards advertisers, there's still a line of people lining up.
Oh, absolutely.
To advertise. So I don't think it hasn't hit too many that, I mean, when's the last time you watched a football game and didn't see a beer commercial? I mean,
yeah.
So it's always going to be
beer and Viagra.
Right.
You know what I didn't see this year that you usually saw was them pushing whatever the show is right after the Super Bowl.
No, they did.
Were.
They
the
did?
Masked
What was
Singer.
that?
The Masked Singer.
Yeah.
All right. I missed it, I guess.
No, you didn't. You didn't miss anything.
But that was always they did. The
No,
Masked
they
Singer.
did, yeah.
That looked ridiculous, by the way.
That's
I've never
when-
seen it. And
That's when the
looks-
A-Team debuted.
It looks absolutely
I
like something
believe.
that come from Japan or something.
I could be wrong. I think the A-Team debuted after the Chicago Bears, New England Patriots Super Bowl in '85.
So the question is, do they have to pay to air their own spot, or is that like a freebie for them?
I think it's you run it as an in-house, like a promo.
Yeah, it's an in-house to keep the eyeballs on the TV when the game's over.
You know what I'd be curious about is the local spots, what
Right.
those bump to, because you get whatever it is, you get 90 seconds national, and then they throw it to the affiliate for 60 seconds. You know what was what network was it on? Fox. So
Right.
whatever
Yeah,
our
Fox is
local
sure.
Fox 4, whatever their affiliate was, what were they charging for 30 seconds to a minute of that?
And
No.
what they do, I didn't even really know. Was it just them doing the weather?
No,
it was
No.
coming up on Fox 4 News. blah,
There
blah,
was
blah, blah.
one for an insurance company, maybe.
There was a local insurance commercial, and then there was a bunch of Fox 4 News.
Okay.
The thing I'm curious about, as far as talking about technology, is everybody has DVRs now.
Yeah.
If I record anything off the networks, I record it. I never watch it live, and then what do? I fast forward through every single. The Super Bowl is the only exception where I want to watch it, but I want to know how that's affecting advertisers. That half the people record everything before they watch it, and all they do, if it has commercials,
Shows get canceled for that.
They
They
just
actually have a
fly through
separate what do they call it? A way that they can do it through the Nielsen's on the top shows that are recorded and watched later. And oftentimes they're canceled because they're like, hey, your live numbers weren't great, even though people are watching you on DVR, because they got to figure, okay, we're losing too many advertisers. We
Right.
have all these eyeballs, but they're forwarding through the commercials.
Right.
And now, with even with Hulu Plus, when you watch live, you see the commercials. And some of the recorded stuff, you watch the commercials. They won't edit those out, even if you do the non-commercial package.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
to give you an idea how much the cost has changed here, in 1967, a 30-second commercial during the first ever Super Bowl cost between $37,500 and $42,500. This year, the average cost for a 30-second Super Bowl commercial was $5.6 million, and that's up from 5.25 last year.
So just double it for a 60. It's probably 10 point something million.
Right. And both Trump and who was the other guy that
Pence.
did? Yeah.
Or no, Bloomberg.
Bloomberg did advertisements to the span of $10 million for 30 seconds for each of them. So where did that come from?
Well, Bloomberg's came out of his own pocket.
Yeah,
Right.
Bloomberg pays for it out of his own pocket. Trump's it probably came from the RNC,
Right.
the Republican National Committee,
Fun.
or the Committee to Reelect Trump, whatever they call it. But yeah, he gets his paid for. But you think about Budweiser always buys a 60-second spot.
Multiple.
Yeah, so they're doing minutes, 30. That's got it. You know, that's a line item in the budget. The Super Bowl advertising. That's probably even a separate line item than just your yearly advertising. But again, I didn't pay attention to any of them, so that was a waste of money. But I got to figure I'm probably not the demographic either.
Yeah, absolutely. So ticket prices, average price for Super Bowl ticket for this year, $8,940. That's a lot.
How many 75-inch TVs could I buy for that?
That's
That's almost, if I can find a deal, that's like 8 75,000 or 75-inch TVs.
or a pretty nice used car.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
You know,
that's true.
average price scalped was $8,264, which I thought would be more than
You know, it's weird that little guy out there waving the tickets has that much cash on him.
right. Yeah,
You know, just,
you got change for $9,000?
Just PayPal it to me.
some
Right.
asshole pays in 20s.
Yep. $336 million CBS hauled in last year for ads.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Who's buying the ticket? The tickets are going to the players, the NFL.
They're all corporate.
Yeah.
You'll listen to. I listened to an interview. Greg Olson, who's a tight end for the Carolina Panthers, and he said during the Super Bowl, he goes, they were a rhythm team. They got into a rhythm. They fed off their home crowd. So the Super Bowl commercials are longer, the breaks are longer, everything takes longer, and the crowd is silent compared to other games. It's all corporate people. They're there just to drink beer.
Hey, I was at the Super Bowl.
Right.
They don't care about the game.
So the energy they get from the crowd is not there. So it's a totally different mindset playing that game.
I've heard that happens at the Cowboy Stadium now because everybody's watching the big screen. That people don't get as involved in the game.
Well, the problem with the Cowboys, Dallas, nobody's from Dallas. Everybody's transferred to Dallas. So when you go to a Green Bay game at the stadium or you go to Pittsburgh, 30% of the crowd is for the other team. So
That makes sense.
when they make a play, you hear it.
Okay. They said there were a lot of Chiefs fans at the Super Bowl. I couldn't
There
really.
was, yeah, there
all
was
I
a lot
hear
of
is
Chiefs.
noise. Well, and it's hard to tell because there's red, there's white, there's yellow in both logos. Like
I did hear the highly inappropriate thing going on, the chief noise or whatever, the thing, the tomahawk doohickey.
the tomahawk chop.
I heard that going on a couple
They've
times.
never been. Nobody's ever complained about that.
Yeah.
Well,
Surprise.
no, because Chiefs is considered much more respectful than Redskins
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
or
I guess.
Braves. Nobody's ever said anything about the Braves.
This is interesting. Apparently, Jennifer Lopez and Shakira received no compensation for doing the halftime show.
No. They had garters. There were dudes up there popping in like 10s and 20s.
You didn't see the guy going like that?
right. You got to have thousands of dollars on you before you can get up
Well,
to
and
the
there was
front of
also
the
a
line.
guy going around with a cup going, "Hey, we need money for the music."
right.
I've heard that happens.
Jesus.
Yeah, but their albums, their iTunes downloads just went through the roof after.
Oh, yeah,
I'm sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They made
Well, and
money.
anything else they do because it's just their face. So oh look, she was in Made in Manhattan. Now I'll watch that.
Right.
Although
I didn't know she could move like that. Look at that ass.
No, never mind. I'm not going there.
Apparently, consumers will spend about $17.2 million on food and beverages and merchandising and parties and stuff to go to these games a year.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
mean, people
lot.
throw big Super Bowl parties.
A lot.
Now, I didn't.
Wait. Is that people what they spent in Miami or
No, that's just
you and
Joe
me
Schmo. Yeah,
having,
going and buying pizza rolls and beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I did spend about $200 on meat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so an
Now,
average
did
per
you have
person-
people over? Did you do a thing, or was it
No.
just you?
just me.
See, that's how I watched this one. Well, and granted, this is the first one I've watched, sat down, and actually paid attention to. But I didn't want distractions. Like, no, I want to watch my team play. I don't, want to be in that party environment where I'm distracted. I want to see what's going on. So I didn't do that. But yeah, Super Bowl parties are always, they were always, a couple years ago even, they were saying, they should make the day after the Super Bowl a national holiday because everybody's hungover. Yeah. Well, and I don't think anybody's gone to work in Kansas City yet.
No, probably not, yeah.
I think everybody's still in the Power and Light
shutdown,
District. Yeah. Probably because they're still too stoked about it.
Right. Crazy.
I don't know.
Crazy.
I don't know.
I don't
So
know,
did this make you more of a sports guy? Did you get excited watching the game? Because you really don't watch sports.
I'm not a big sports guy, and I actually really did enjoy what I watched of the game. I will say I didn't watch the whole game, but I did enjoy what I saw. And I can see the appeal. There's definitely some fun involved there, and you get to be a part of something, and you get to root for somebody. And once you find your team, like I was going for the Chiefs because I go to Kansas, I know all those guys, I want them to be happy, so it was fun to see that. And I was texting back and forth with you, and he's like going, "What the hell is he doing watching sports?"
That was my first question. I was like, he's watching the game? That did throw me for a second.
Did you see that goal?
He made a football score.
Baseball's my favorite team.
Right.
He texted me and he goes, he made a great football play. I'm like, Jason Garrett texted me? That was a little bit obscure, but for those of you who got it, you're welcome.
Did you call him and say, "Hey man, I think your phone's been stolen"?
Right.
Who is this really?
Who this new number?
Yeah,
I think I actually checked in with my wife before I sent that. Like, should I send him something about the game? She's like, "What are you going to say?" I think I'll say this. Yeah, that's okay. Just don't sound like an idiot.
Yeah, because I think literally the text the text chain we had before that, I was like, "Hey, did you watch that new Star Wars thing or Star Trek thing on YouTube?"
Right.
That was it. We went from Star Trek to he's texting me about football.
What
the hell? That's
Yeah.
not Brandon.
I got in a car wreck, had some head damage.
Apparently, a lot of that happens with football.
Yeah.
I got to say this: watching the game now, I don't know how all these guys don't retire after 2 seasons, just so they can live. I mean, I remember watching it as a kid, and these guys, it was brutal then, but these guys weren't as big, they weren't as muscular, and now you're talking about something who's just a giant slab of muscle hitting you at 35 miles an hour.
Talk about the difference. Tommy Lee Jones was an offensive lineman at Harvard.
Oh, man.
That's how much this game has changed.
Wow.
It's, yeah, the knee injuries, everything. And you never heard about some of these injuries before because these guys weren't so finely tuned that you had all these injuries. And now,
if the $6 million man ever becomes a thing, it's going to be because of professional sports.
They'll fight.
It'll be to keep those guys playing.
But it'll be the $6 billion man.
Yeah.
That's what it'll cost.
Well, they've talked about when they do a movie, or they're always trying to redo a movie or something about it, and it would be called The $6 Billion Man.
Yeah.
Just like growing up, Bruce Wayne was a millionaire. Millionaire Bruce Wayne. Now he's a billionaire. Because, Joe Schmo, who played for 2 seasons for some shitty team, is also a millionaire, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So
Sure. You got to look at football as an industry. Sports medicine, sports nutrition. I mean, these guys are banking on anything. Sports apparel, performance.
Sports apparel is one of the worst.
I mean, it supports so many other industries.
Hey, McGee, you know that jersey you got that you really like that you paid $150 for? Hey, this time we outlined the letters with their secondary colors. So you want to buy another one?
Right.
Or wait, here's the commemorative. It's a camo jersey. You want to pay for this one too?
Here's the all-black one for the night game.
Yeah, they always find a way. But you know who else does that? High schools. Mm-hmm. You can't just get a band shirt. You have to get a shirt that says Band 2020 so that in 2021 you have to buy a new band shirt.
That is absolutely true because we have my daughters going to the same schools, and they told her, my youngest, that she had to have the new band shirt.
Yeah, it's a screw job.
Wow, come on, it's the same fucking colors, same school.
It is an absolute screw job. That and when I found out, hey, it's your turn to supply snacks for the coach. Like, fuck what? Like, he's got a job. Why is? Well, he can't really go anywhere. Like, my coach drank water on the sideline out of a cup with the rest of it. Like, why are you? Dixie cup, let me clarify. But regardless, it's like now there's got to be snacks provided. It's like,
Sponsored by Monster.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. That was one of the weirdest bets. You could take all these stupid bets during the Super Bowl, but one of them was what color Gatorade or whatever would be poured on the winning coach, how long the national anthem would take.
Right, because the under won that one. And everybody had bet the Gatorade was going to be red.
Right.
It was an orange.
And this is in Vegas.
All the prop bets. So
Yeah.
it's heads or tails, first bet.
Right.
It's national anthem. Always give an over-under time limit. And then you can bet, is the first play, who's going to get the ball first? Is the first play going to be a pass or a run? Who scores first? Who scores the first touchdown?
That's insane.
Yeah.
Did they have one for wardrobe malfunction, I wonder?
No. Well, maybe they might have. I wouldn't put it past them.
1-800-BETS-OFF.
Right.
If you
It's like,
or a friend have a problem.
If Justin Timberlake is in the crowd, there's a good chance there'll be a wardrobe malfunction.
I didn't even see that halftime show either because it was like Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson. I
Right.
could care less.
What's funny about that one, and the excuse was like, oh, it was a wardrobe malfunction. The last line of the song is, get you naked before the end of this song, and then he rips her thing off and shows her boob. I think that was planned.
That was planned.
Yeah,
that was 100% planned.
Yeah, none of that stuff is.
MTV backtracking. Like, oh, no.
Oh, that was the one that was
That was
sponsored
the
by
MTV
MTV.
one, yeah.
That's when they still did music.
Yep.
Interesting. Man, we have deviated.
No,
But it's been sports related.
Yeah.
It's been sports.
Ish,
How's
yeah.
it feel? Should we do a sports podcast now?
You guys could do one. I'm not doing that.
McGee and Fullman on sport. Rah, 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 rah. We got to change our voice and have some dog barking in the background. And
In the background.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Look, all I'm saying is he goes out there. It's like,
Yeah.
like
First off, you're wrong. Second, give me another beer.
Right.
And the beauty of it is, with the exception of the athletes, these are people who have no idea what the fuck's going on because they don't play.
Right.
We could take callers.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, caller, you suck.
That's
What
how
do
you
you
fill some
know?
time right there.
There was one. It was one of those great bits during sports night. They were taking, for whatever reason, they were taking a live call, and this guy's talking about Joe Torre and how he should be run out of town on a rail because it was the 90s and Torre's still coaching the Yankees. He's like, I'm just saying, how does he make that call? And they're like, interesting point, caller. So tell me, how much experience do you have coaching at the professional level? Well, none. College? No. AAA? No. Did you ever play in high school? No. He's like, all right, Joe Torre has like 1,000 years of coaching experience, so why don't you shut up?
Right.
It's like, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a fucking opinion. It's like nobody knows.
Especially with social media, yeah.
Oh,
Everybody's got an
that's...
opinion now.
You know what, though? But now we're all equal because we all have a voice and we can all stay stupid, uninformed shit.
With $100 worth of equipment, yeah.
And with that, we wrap up another edition of Loved Hate. That was probably the best outro you could have given me. Want to thank Brian McGee from Crowned Heads for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
No,
And-
always a blast having you on, man.
And thank you for the cigar. The La Coalition, I always say it wrong, Coalition.
La Coalition.
All right, fantastic. Give it a shot. You can find it in finer cigar shops throughout DFW and the country.
And if you want to listen to the show, you can check us out on iTunes, iPod-O-Matic.
iPod.
Totally screwed this up. iTunes, Podomatic, Spreaker, Stitcher, Podcast Land, all the places you can find good quality podcasting and our show as well.
Hey, I carried my part of the outro. We'll talk to you next week, kids. See ya.